especially in light of the advent of Antifa, if you look at what's going on there, you know, you have some pretty bad dudes on the other side also, and essentially that's what I said. Now, because of what's happened since then with Antifa, you look at, you know, really what's happened since Charlottesville. A lot of people are saying, in fact, a lot of people have actually written, gee, Trump might have a point. I said you got some very bad people on the other side also, which is true.
Antifa is the movement credited with fending off white supremacists in Charlottesville, but Antifa has become a hot topic in conservative circles. Here's former Breitbart editor Ben Shapiro, who spoke at Berkeley last night.
Thanks to Antifa and the supposed anti-fascist brigade for exposing what the radical left truly is, all of America is watching because you guys are so stupid. It's horrifying, I am grateful, and you can all go to hell, you pathetic, lying, stupid jackasses.
Ben doesn't mince words, right? With me now to talk about Antifa, John Fredericks, a conservative talk radio host, joining me from Virginia Beach, and Luis Alvarado, a Republican strategist and Latino political and media consultant. Welcome to you both. Thank you. So, John, want to start with Mr. Trump's comments because they came after he sat down with African-American Republican Senator Tim Scott to talk about what it's like to be poor and African-American. And here's what Scott's office later tweeted about Trump's comments. Quote, to expect the president's rhetoric to change based on one 30-minute conversation is unrealistic. Antifa is bad and should be condemned, yes, but white supremacists have been killing and tormenting black Americans for centuries. There is no realistic comparison. So who's right?
Well, it appears they've had a productive meeting and dialogue is good. They need to continue to have a conversation. Carol, I think the president is very frustrated at the lack of media attention this violent group Antifa is receiving across the plains of legacy media. I mean, these are very dangerous people. The mayor of Berkeley said they should be classified as a terrorist organization by the DHS. They've been called out by Dianne Feinstein, Nancy Pelosi in San Francisco, and I think the president just can't understand why the media cannot see how violent these people are. But here's the bigger picture. The false narrative that is being presented by the media that somehow these whack jobs, skinheads, and neo-Nazis that showed up in Charlottesville, like somehow these people represent Trump's base or Trump's voters. This is a tiny little fraction of society. In any free society,
so why does the president continue
people.
to connect the two?
People.
Why can't the president talk about Antifa separately from Charlottesville? Wouldn't that solve the problem?
It would solve the problem if the media would do the same thing. He's frustrated because we have this very violent left-wing group that now is going out that has nothing to do with the skinheads or the neo-Nazis and that tiny fraction of people. Now they're going out protesting, disrupting things, burning automobiles, vandalizing, and they get no coverage. And look, these people are violent, they're criminals, and so it's two sides of it. But as far as the skinheads and that thing in Charlottesville, those people with the torches, Carol, this is the absolute minuscule fringe of society that has nothing to do with the Trump movement, Trump voters, middle-class workers. And so we spend all this time on it. What we don't spend time talking about is the millions of people in this country that don't have jobs, whose wages are down, who are getting screwed by their government every day.
And I hear you, I do. And Senator Scott also talked about jobs for African Americans in that meeting with President Trump. So I hear you.
Right.
I just want to concentrate on Antifa because I think a lot of people are confused about what Antifa is. And Luis, maybe you can help us out there. Do you know? Antifa is like a loosely organized group. I mean, they don't have any central leader, but they do show up at places like Berkeley last night when Ben Shapiro was talking and forced Berkeley to spend $600,000 on security.
Yes, well, actually, you know, there are factions of what John's saying that is correct. Both sides of the political spectrum have those fringes that are criminal-based or criminal-minded and have to be rejected from everybody. But your point is actually most correct, Carol. The fact is, why is Donald Trump going back to this? Why is he bringing this up? And the reality is that in the end, for Donald Trump's message machine to work, there has to be a boogeyman. There has to be a boogeyman so those Trump supporters feel that there's someone out there that he's trying to defend us against. There's somebody out there that's trying to take away these goodies that John was trying to say, you know, was trying to allude to the jobs.
Well, I'm
just
going to push back a little bit, Luis, because Antifa does cause violence. It did cause violence at Berkeley during many demonstrations there. In fact, the Berkeley administrators told me they don't want these people on their campus. They come in and they invade campus and they just cause trouble. So
they're criminals, just as the skinheads and the Nazis. And I guess that's the point that I was trying to make, that they should be condemned, and when they break the law, they should be arrested and prosecuted. But, you know, to tie the political aspect of it is a whole different thing, because what they're trying to do is inexcusable, like what the Nazis are trying to do is inexcusable. But how you address it and how you triangulate those actions and how you represent the government and the people of the United States of America is what we're addressing here. And President Trump hasn't been as eloquent, hasn't been intelligent in formulating a message that actually is conducive to making us feel that he's representing America's interests, you know, and he becomes the attacker in chief. And that's the problem that we have with Donald Trump when it comes to these message wars.
I have to leave it there. I wish we could go on. John Fredericks, Luis Alvarado, thank you so much.
That's an unbelievable statement. There's no boogeyman. It's ridiculous, Luis, really. It is really ridiculous.
I kind of knew John would disagree with you there. I got to go, though. Thanks, guys.
I mean, there's no...